Welcome to another episode of Nerdtween and a Movie Podcast. I am your host, Nerdpool Prime. So this entire episode is going to be one big spoiler warning. So right now, you better get the heck out of here because I'm going to talk more about what I took from the episode more than a true breakdown like I've been doing. There was a couple things in the episode that really stood out to me that were far more important than I believe many people are giving it credit for. So, you have now been warned, so we will go ahead and start. So, first and foremost, this was one of the best episodes by far. My first takeaway was with Monica when they did her scan. They said it was blank. I disagree. I actually think that that's all the latent power that has now been unlocked in her by her interaction with Wanda, which is what I predicted prior to the start of the series, was that Monica was going to get her powers from Wanda. So that is my opinion on what that was, not a truly blank scan. So, and then what really bothered me about this episode was how easily the sword agents were dismissing Jimmy when he seems to have the best grasp of what's going on. And you got to admit, it's great to see Darcy finally got her coffee. And of course, it was Wu who brought it to her. That trio of Wu, Darcy, and Monica is something I truly love watching. And Monica is definitely a lot smarter than what people may have thought, because in the comics, she's a super powerful character. It's easy to forget how intelligent people can be when they're just so powerful. Like, for instance, like Reed Richards, he's super powerful with all his abilities, but he's known for his intelligence more than anything else. Like, sure, we know that he stretches and everything, but at the same time, it's more his intelligence and ingenuity that he's really known for, in my opinion. And so now let's jump into how they're naming it. They're calling it the Hex. I personally understand why they're doing it. I don't really like the name. It seems a little too gimmicky. And also, quick jump back to when he was asked, does she have any like nickname or anything? So they haven't officially called her the Scarlet Witch yet, which is really interesting because we all know from the comics that that's what her name is. That's the alias she goes by. But then you look at when Monica was looking over the specs and how she can get back in, and she said, I know an aerospace engineer who'd be up for this challenge. Who do we think this is going to be? Like, so according to the rumors, Hank McCoy is going to show up in the Agents of S.W.O.R.D. TV show, which seems to be more going to be titled The Secret Invasion. And he would be a very interesting person to introduce. I feel like they could introduce him as Hank McCoy. And that way, all of us super nerds are going to freak out because we now have our first true X-Man that we hope to see in the future. I mean, yes, we have Wanda and Pietro, but the problem with that is when they were first introduced, they couldn't be mentioned as mutants. So they were just enhanced. So to have Hank McCoy show up as a regular human being and then later see him come back as Beast, that would be pretty cool. And that could be that super secret cameo, because there was a cameo in this episode, but I don't think it was a super secret one. We kind of heard rumors that he was going to be in it in some capacity. Talk about, of course, Evan Peters showing up at the end of the episode as her brother, Pietro, sort of. I really don't think he's Pietro at all. I don't think he's an alternate reality version. Some of the videos I've watched from like New Rock Stars or Everything Always, they've postulated that maybe it's a rip in the fabric. So like she has said in the episode that she couldn't bring back people from the dead. So maybe this is her pulling in people from the rest of the multiverse to fill the holes for what she can't with bringing back her dead brother. Now, for me, I definitely see how that could be the case. I just hope that's not. I truly think that he's Mephisto, just masquerading as his brother, as her brother, and I feel like the last line of the episode is what really solidifies that for me, because when he says who's the popsicle, that would lead me to allude that he would be able to see Vision for what he really is, because as I stated before, I feel like Wanda is just you like literally in some sick Weekend at Wanda's spoof where she's just puppet master and having Vision's dead corpse just walk around. I don't think he's actually been brought back to life yet. It seems to me at least that this is just her playing. Like she's changing what she sees based off of the control at the time. And there was like a lot of like red hue in this episode and right after she went outside, and I've part of me doesn't think that was even Wanda. Part of me think that is like some type of manifestation of the reality, because when she stopped the drone, what did she do? Pause the entire reality, walk outside, change her clothes when she didn't do that with anybody else? Like when she sent Monica out of the quote unquote hex. I still like Wanda's WandaVerse or Wanda's Vision. Those two I think sound a little bit better than the hex, but whatever. So why did her clothes change? Why did she come out as she did when she went in? And did you know she had a little bit more of an accent than I think we're used to seeing now, because she doesn't really have it at all when she's talking to Vision or when she was in like Endgame or Infinity War. So for me, I'm not sure that was actually Wanda. I think it may have been almost like a projection of what, that's how powerful Wanda is right now, because they stated that everything in there is actual matter, that she's wielding all this power. And it really was great to see them comment on how Wanda almost soloed Thanos. And I've been saying it since, honestly, since the first time she appeared, she was one of the strongest of any of the characters that we've seen. And then even more so in like Infinity War, and definitely in Endgame, because I mean, in Infinity War, she was able to, while having a mental breakdown because she was literally about to kill her love, she destroyed an Infinity Stone while holding back Thanos, who had all the stones but one. Who else could even come close to that? I mean, Thor didn't kill him. I mean, if he would have aimed for the head, sure, he could have got him, but he didn't. And then, as they mentioned in the episode, the only other person who came close was Captain Marvel. And now, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little issue there. Monica, who used to look up to Captain Marvel, now basically shrugged her off like, oh, I don't want to hear about her. Now, there's many reasons why that could be. Maybe it's because she didn't save her mother. Maybe it was because she couldn't be there when she was blipped back. Maybe it was because she's the reason why she got cancer. Or maybe just because she just left. There's a lot of like hard feelings that definitely came across in her portrayal there. And the acting in this show has been just unbelievable. And as Kevin Smith said when after that episode where Wanda initially sent Monica out of the hex, Elizabeth Olsen deserves every award you can possibly give her. She has done such an amazing job with the emotions and the facial expressions and jumping into those time periods. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal what she's been able to accomplish so far. And honestly, it's just going to get better. It's definitely just going to get better. And now, so we're going to talk about Vision here. He's always been trying to figure things out. Now, I think in order to make this construct work, if Wanda is really 100% controlling it, she would have to give Vision some type of sentient ability so that he would be the man she fell in love with. And that sentient ability has allowed him to figure out things. And then he freed Norm momentarily and spoke to him and found out how much pain he was in. Now, honestly, I don't think being under her control is what is truly what's making him in pain. It's the fact that his sister is taking care of his father, or his sick father. I think the pain that he was talking about was him feeling Wanda's pain, because when they were grilling Monica about her possession, that's one of the things they said. Well, you said that it was painful, an invasion and all that stuff, and I feel that that was more her feeling Wanda's feelings and understanding how deeply upset and how broken she is right now. And it's just gonna get worse. I've already postulated that what's gonna really set her off is going to be losing the kids and realizing she can't bring back Vision. That's definitely something that could happen. I personally think what's gonna really happen is she's gonna somehow bring Vision back for real by recreating the Mind Stone, because you see how the kids and Agatha were pushing her to try to bring back the dog Sparky, and Sparky is actually the name of Vision's dog in one of the really dark Vision comics, which is a nice little nod. So when it comes to trying to figure out what's going on here, it's really, really hard, because it's meant to be a kind of like world within a world. So what's happening there is independent from what's going on, and the rules in there definitely don't mix with the rules of the natural world as we see it. She has her little universe in there, and she's gonna defend it as much as she can. So for me, with her taking all these people captive, yes, that it's bad, but like Monica said, she put herself into quarantine. I mean, yes, it's thousands of people, but what about millions? I mean, she has the ability to change the fabric of reality, and instead of doing that to the entire world, she did it to a small little sector. I mean, this is that classic argument: do you sacrifice 1,000 to save 1,000,000,000? I mean, you can make that argument all day and all night, and not ever reach an actual verdict. And for me, you look at like characters like Agatha. She's definitely Agnes. Sorry, Agnes. I see. I Freudian slip there. Agnes, who is definitely Agatha Harkness, in my opinion, is definitely part of it. She is not being controlled by Wanda. I think she is bound by certain rules in the hex. Like, she can't affect a lot of things directly, for whatever reason. But she definitely, when she looked at Wanda, she's like, want me to take it from the top? And, Vision definitely caught that. And I love that in the trailer, that you didn't even know what was going to happen, but you still felt that emotion in the trailer, and it definitely even played more here. And I do, of course, love the fact that we have Billy Kaplan. Well, I guess he's not Kaplan, but Billy and Tommy, these twins. It's funny, they haven't shown any signs of their powers yet. And the fact that Wanda can't control them also leads me to believe that it's Mephisto, because she couldn't control the stork, and now she can't control these babies. And in the comics, Mephisto, she makes these two twins, and then she uses part of Mephisto to give them souls, and then he reabsorbs them, and that like really sends her over the edge. And in that same storyline, of course, Agatha Harkness was there. So I think that's definitely where we're going. It's a mix of that and the House of M. I feel like that at the end of the series, or at least this season, we don't know if it's going to go more than a season. It might be a limited series where it's just one and done, because it's going to lead into the future of the MCU. So we really don't know at this point where this is going to go, and I think that's the point. I think that's the point for this show, is that so many people try to figure out what's going on, like me and all these any other YouTubers or podcasters or super nerds, just try to like dissect every little piece of everything we watch, try to figure things out. We're not going to be able to. Like, sure, we may have, somebody may hit it, and but at the same time, it's really not one of the shows that you can you can really get everything out of it. This is a real treat for me, and I really enjoy this show so far. So well, let's see. What was the people are saying that the Evan Peters might have been that super secret cameo, but like I said, the reports that he was in the show have been been around for a while. We had no clue Luke was showing up in The Mandalorian. So if there is a Mandalorian Luke Skywalker style or something like that of that caliber in this show, who's it going to be? So I've talked with a few people. There's an interview that'll be posted. Not an interview, I call it a nerd down with Comics Kings. We talked about this earlier. Who would we want to be the people that the super secret cameo? Now we both came to agreement. The best bet for me and him would be Professor X. If Professor X shows up and basically puts up the walls in her mind like he did in House of M, this could lead to her erupting later and maybe even have a second season of the show, or even have that happen in Multiverse of Madness. Like, kind of, because in the comics what happened is she started having these like psychic freakouts where she was, and she literally just snapped and recreated the whole world in an image of her family. So with Magneto as the leader of the world, basically, because the mutants are basically the top tier race or being on the planet, unlike in the 616 where it's humans. So that would be really good, because that would be able to put a pin in the Wanda grenade and then let things progress for the rest of the MCU, and then have her come back a little bit later. So the other people, there's a couple other ones that we thought of. Like, I think maybe, obviously the obvious one is Magneto. Like, that'd be so cool if Magneto shows up, and in any form. I mean, whether it's the original Magneto that we got in the original X-Men movies, or the reboot of Michael Fassbender. I mean, what does it matter? I don't care. Just the way this is playing out with all the rumors with Spider-Man 3. I mean, most recently, Willem Dafoe apparently was spotted on set. So, I mean, anything's possible at this point. So, we don't really know. I postulated that it could be that the Sentinels show up, and that's what Sword was building. And they definitely used some type of research they did off of Vision's body, because in the little clip when they showed Wanda taking Vision's body, at least at the start of it, he was in pieces. And it definitely looked like there were Sword research people, research assistants or lab technicians that were trying to get information or something like that. It's funny, like, when Hayward said that Wanda brought him back with against his wishes because he didn't want to become someone's weapon. What the hell was he doing? I mean, you're talking about her taking him away and bringing him back to life when you were studying him to create better weaponry to fight basically her. So I have a hard time. His character is really pushing me, and I almost wanted him to get shot when Wanda flipped all of the guns onto him. I part of me really was hoping that was going to be it, that he was going to get taken out right then and there, and then Monica could be the new head of Sword. Just like that. Like, I definitely thought that would have been something far better, for me at least, because excuse me, at this point, I'm not a fan of his character. Not that he was ever that likable to begin with, but yeah, he's just getting progressively worse. When has ever shoot first, take the shot ever worked when you're dealing with a a superpowered being? Never. The only time that would work would be if you had a kryptonite bazooka and your point blank range at Superman. I mean, it has to be something that's specifically designed to take them down, not just a regular bullet or a regular it's just, I just don't know how anyone could, like, who could stop Wanda? I mean, you're looking at maybe Doctor Strange. He could definitely do something, but I feel like he wouldn't be the Luke Skywalker cameo either. It would have to be someone like, maybe Professor X or Magneto. Polaris from the Gifted series would be an interesting one that we thought about earlier. And, I thought maybe Rogue, because Rogue's powers, she could take the power from Wanda, fix the all the damage she caused, and then you could see how strong she is, because there's rumors that she's gonna be the main villain per se. I mean, in Captain Marvel 2. So, and then that would be how that plays out with her Captain Carol losing her powers, and Monica taking over as a new Captain Marvel. So that sounds like something that's going to play out based off of the rumors that we're hearing. But all in all, I mean, I wasn't even surprised to see Evan Peters there. I mean, I'll admit that I had a lot of it spoiled already. Like, I saw a clip from probably next week's episode. If it's the Halloween one, that's the one I saw. And so I wasn't even surprised to see him when he showed up. But I definitely don't think that he is Quicksilver in any way, shape, or form, or Pietro. For me, it's just it's too obvious that he is Mephisto. But that would be one way to immediately canonize the defunct Fox universes. So when all these other defunct characters show up in, like, Doctor Strange 2 or the Multiverse of Madness or Spider-Man 3, it could give a sort of an explainer here, so it doesn't have to spend time in the movie explaining how it happened. But all in all, I can't wait to see how this show plays out. I mean, some of the rumors even say that maybe we'll get Reed Richards. I don't believe it. Not for me. I don't think that you debut Reed Richards in WandaVision. You debut Reed Richards in a feature movie. You can name drop him, but I don't think by any means you can make him a cameo in this show and make it work. But this is just a great show, and I'm glad that we're getting it. And if there was anything that could start the new phase, it's definitely this, and I'm just excited for more WandaVision. But that's gonna be my little spiel on WandaVision this week. Check out the Nerd Down. They'll both be available today. And again, thank you so much for coming and checking out the podcast. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming down the pipe for episodes coming up. I have some more interviews, some more collaborations with other great nerds that I've met through Instagram and the Comic Collectors Guild and things like that. And also, I'm going to be doing a special on pre-ordering comics. I have pre-ordered quite a few comics starting in December to make sure that I could get all of the copies that I wanted. And I've had vastly different experiences with the different comic book stores and modes that I have used. So that's definitely going to be something to look forward to. Again, thank you for joining me. This is Nerdpool Prime signing off. You stay nerdy and safe. Wear a mask. Actually, wear two. Signing off.